So I just got done with the run with Leah and Jay, and it was a great run exercise session there. It was awesome, awesome session. Those two dogs, they were, of course, any dog in the beginning, they're gonna be quite anxious and like a little bit nervous about what's going on. But once they get used to it, it's just a flow. The only one that really still had more of a kind of like question mark on what's going on was Jay, which Jay had a better pace than no, it was Leah that was kind of like I was more concerned about, but then she had a better pace than Jay did. Both dogs did awesome. Afterwards we did a little bit flirt pole and the dogs did awesome. I thought that was gonna be a little bit hard just to get Leah going, because she does have more of a mellow personality, but then that bulldog in her kicked out a little bit and it was more of a I gotta chase. And so it was awesome, great session, great workout session. We had a little rest at the end for all the both dogs, and they all had a little fun, and so it was an amazing workout for those two dogs. But other than that, I want to talk a little bit about dog food. Let's just talk about the intake of what kind of food the dog should be taking. Now the thing is that there is dog food, processed food, and then there is raw. So there's two sides to a lot of people like to lean on one side and more than the other, and I was always leaned towards the raw side more for all the years I had dogs and the years I've been working with dogs, and we're having working dogs, hunting dogs. I lean towards the raw side more than processed dog food. I would say at the moment I am in between. I feed both dog food and raw food, and to me I think it all matters about what is best for your dog. The thing I love about dog food is that it's really consistent. It's always the same amount of material that was used to make the product is within that product, and so when your dog does take that in, they contain all those, and they are also more consistent on it because of it. And the thing about that is that it depends on the dog food. There is a lot of dog brands that I do actually not go and buy. There is a lot of stuff that I am very worried about. I have to do my research and make sure that it is a good brand and good, they do have a good model for, and a good how I say their foresight on what they want to see in people's dogs, and that they really care. Then that's when I go and go ahead and look more into that brand and buy that brand to use for my dogs. Especially my dogs are working dogs, so I need something that will have a high intake of protein and fat. People try to be low on fat, but fat is the main energy for dogs. Dogs need fat to have that energy. So do not avoid fat in your dog food. Definitely do not avoid it. Then raw, I love raw so much because if you feed it correctly, you could see such a major change. You could tell that it is natural for dogs to eat raw. It is very natural. Even though it's been dog food, it's been created a little bit after World War II, which is 1945. I can't really go on with the date exactly when dog food started, but then it started out with biscuits and then it transitioned to dog food. The thing is that before that, it was always table scraps and more of whatever that we are to give our dogs, which is whatever food we eat, and a lot of it is also more meat than anything else. Dogs are prone to look at them, they're canines. They are carnivores. You could tell that they are meant to be carnivores. They're meant to eat meat. So when you give more of a raw diet, you will see a major change in dogs. A lot of people don't tend to like that looks of raw but then if you know what's good for your dog, that is the perfect look, which is the more leaner looking dogs than anything else. Dog food does bulk a dog up more, and there's also goods and bads in it, but then if you know how to portion yourself correctly and your dog correctly, then it will lead to really good success later on, depending on what you guys do as far as health wise at home or sport wise. Then yeah, portion yourself correctly. But the only thing about raw food is, there's actually two things that I'm more worried about it. The thing is that, and of course I'll go into talking about dog food as well, but then raw food, dogs nowadays, even though since dog food only started since after the World War II, the change it hasn't been that long ago, but then our dogs nowadays, every dog breed nowadays, depending on what they were bred for, had their stomach, digestive system, everything has also changed. They are, after years and years of breeding and evolving from litter to litter, it's always been more dog food than anything else. So when some dogs, especially, like, let me go off and name one breed, like my French bulldogs. I had a French bulldog before. They had a hard time processing raw food. Now that is because of the amount of bacteria, and also even just that, like a natural substance like that, feed like that, it's hard for a dog that is built different nowadays. Dog compared to wolf, built different nowadays, that have a hard time digesting meat. And so because of that, I would say a slow process of giving them raw meat instead of just jumping straight into raw meat will be best. But then as far as that, some dogs nowadays can't take it. And then the other bad thing about it is that it is a DIY kind of thing. You do it yourself kind of thing. And so a lot of people that feed raw do not know how to feed raw properly. There's a lot of, it's not just giving your dogs a drumstick and then, oh yeah, go off and eat their drumstick. Oh, I'm feeding raw. No, that is not part of it. The whole thing about feeding raw is giving them all the right nutrients within that that bowl that you're going to be giving them. You have to be able to time it out on what your dog needs as far as vitamin wise, and like for example, vitamin D, organ needs. Definitely people do not a lot of people give organ meat. Veggies, some people go crazy over veggies. Dog bowl, if you are to feed veggies, it should be more dark veggies than anything else. There should be no more than 20%. No more than 20% is pretty high, but no more than 20% of veggies within a dog bowl. And so if you know how to portion yourself correctly for raw feeding, then it is perfect for you and your dogs. Poop wise, it would look great too. Health wise and everything, it looks great. I got nothing to say on raw other than that. Dog food, the thing is that it is really consistent. Now it could be consistent on being good, or it could be consistent on being bad. There's a lot of recalls on dog food, but at the same time, a lot of dog survive and has a good lifestyle because of dog food. A lot of us nowadays do not know or do not put ourselves in the situation where we will be learning what is best for our dogs, and so dog food comes into play. People all know, we already have sometimes it is more of an advertisement than anything else, but people that actually study dogs and put their time into studying what's best for our dogs are the ones that give the recommendations for dog food. I would say not a lot of people, not a lot of us should trust those advertisement much, but then at the same time, when you look into dog foods and if you spend your time to read the descriptions and all that, and what your dog is taking in from it, and if you are to use those dog food and use it as an experiment and see how your dog changes per per day, per week, per month, then that's when you will know what's good and what's not within dog food. I love dog food. It's just the brands out there that sometimes makes me hate it, and that's why I avoided dog food for the longest time, for over a decade. Know that I've been feeding raw. And I'm finally getting back into dog food, which I found a really good brand from Canada. If you guys know which brand that is, great for you guys. You guys are gonna have some really nice dogs because of that brand of dog food from Canada. Yeah. Other than that, then yeah, it was just a thought that popped up in my head, and I want to have more of a talk about it. Like I said, dog food, raw food, people are against each other, but then there are people like me that are right in between, that I feed both, and I love both food, and I know when to use it and when not to use it. For example, for long distance, I want to be able to get into more of a consistent groove, and that's when dog food comes into play. But then raw food as snacks will be what I throw in as well. As far as daily and as a daily kind of meals, then I go more towards raw. But then at the same time, if I was to see, I will switch it up, because the thing is that dogs, they are not prone to just eating one thing all their life. No, it's meant to be a variety of things, just like how we eat too. Even if they're to be in the wild, they will eat variety of the stuff, other than, like, they'll hunt variety of stuff other than just hunting one species of animal the whole time. So for example, for me, I will be able to have my dogs able to eat dog food and raw food. Now, I had dogs in the past that would just eat dog food and not raw, and I also had dogs that will also eat raw and not dog food. But I think the more you put into your dog, the better you put into your dog, the better they're gonna come out of. And if you know what's best for your dog, and every dog is different, all right. If you're to know what is best for your dog, and you're to give them that right amount of food every single time, as far as intake wise, and to fill up their tank, then that is what is best. And so please do not avoid dog food or raw food. Do not stand on one side and just point your fingers at the other sideline. Go ahead and see it from both point of views, and then combine it. One lesson from one dog or one bad event does not mean that everything is bad. You have to be able to see the whole picture. There are bads and there are goods and bads on both sides, and so make sure, if you're to fall under the bad side at one point, you have to be able to see also, you can't, for one dog, if you're to see the bad side of one side, you have to be able to grow from that, and also see if your next dog or your other dog is gonna feel different from this other brand of this other style of food. But like I said, that was just a thought of mine. Of course, a lot of people talk about intake wise, and a lot of people ask me to make a video about it. Sorry to say, but then it ended up being almost 14-minute video now. So no, that was just a thought of mine. Of course, people ask me all the time, and I go and explain my point of view on it, and it's always both sides of the stories. I'm always on both sides of the stories. So dog food, raw food, good.